Hello, my name is Peregrine. If it wasn't clear already, I'm quite fond of Overwatch, but it's actually not my main hyperfixation. That title has always been and will always belong to Pokémon. A series I've been playing for almost 20 years now, with my introduction in Pokémon Diamond and Pearl in 2007. Throughout my entire life I would always put things in Pokémon terms and do mashup collaborations in my brain, making Pokémon teams for people, for example assigning things like my friends to have Pokémon teams, or putting Pokémon with JoJo characters to represent the stand, or just shit like that. And yes, part of that hobby does include designing teams based on Overwatch heroes, which is what I'm bringing you today. Building themed teams is one of my favourite activities in Pokémon, so today I'm bringing you a doubles format, Gym Leader, Elite Four kind of thing for each Overwatch hero. And if this video gets some love, I'll make this into a series, probably looking at about 500 views. Starting off this concept, I bring you my favourite crafted team so far, Venture. I think a fairly easy but unexpected pick for Venture would be Dedenne. A small Venture meeting a goofy little rat on their Route 1 would be a good partner. As stated on Overwatch's website, Venture was born with an uncanny ability to find things, similar to Dedenne's ability Pickup. And as an incredibly small electric type, Dedenne can find gaps in caves or ruins while providing a reliable light source using its electric pouches. And unlike fire types, this light will not light any potentially flammable gases found inside caves, which is a problem that cavers can sometimes face. This Dedenne set in particular is set up to be a fast bulky support mon, using Nuzzle to spread paralysis, Volt Switch to pivot, and Super Fang for high damage without needing any attack investment. Just in case of any setup sweepers, Dedenne is also carrying a Focus Sash, and also has Endeavour to potentially abuse the fact that it's on 1 HP. Fiercely loyal to the Wayfinder Society and their mission, Venture needs an equally loyal and reliable hard hitter, and for that we have to go way back to the days of Hisui, to pick up their next partner, Hisuian Arcanine. Based off Kamainu statues, lion-dog hybrid yokai who protect Shinto shrines, Venture will receive a turbo nerd boner from this living piece of history on their team. And while yes, Hisuian Arcanine in doubles is usually used for Intimidate and Spreading Burn, we all know that's not how Sloan Cameron plays. So we are going to go full aggressive choice-banded Rockhead set with Head Smash and Flare Blitz for Rockhead and Stab, Extreme Speed for a much needed priority move, and Wild Charge to cover for any water types. Just like Venture, the Kamainu and Hisuian Arcanine protect the history of those around it, with in particular going for very special areas that hold great significance to different tribes of people. Claydol is an often forgotten about and overlooked Pokemon, but it has one of my favourite designs in the series, being obviously based on ancient statues, looking like that fertility statue that everyone memes on, but upside down. With access to Levitate, it provides a helpful ground immunity to a very ground-weak team, while also providing the opportunity for Calm Minds to make it not only a special attacker, but a special wall for a very physically heavy team. Alongside the obvious stab moves of Psychic and Earth Power, the less optimal but very appropriate move Ancient Power would be the TM that Gym Leader Venture gives out. So, Claydol is also carrying Ancient Power, which, while not the best, does have an opportunity to Omni Boost, and, you know, of course I'm going to give the Archaeologist Ancient Power. It's Ancient Power. Speaking of historians, another living piece of history and one of the best designed regional evolutions that we have, Runericus. Nothing could possibly excite a historian more than a living rune, or at least something disguising itself as a rune, with its ghost typing suggesting it could even be a form of curse. This would be a delight for our Indiana Jonesing little mole. Adding a Runericus to the team provides a more physically defensive wall for the team, also providing brilliant speed control with Trick Room and a hard-hitting ghost-type move in Poltergeist, the dangerously and disastrously flinching Rock Slide, while also carrying a Stab Earthquake which synergizes well with Claydol's Levitate and the flying type of our next Pokemon. Runericus will be holding the Citrus Berry, which is just good for overall recovery and quick recovery in case it's being doubled into while setting up Trick Room. And also, when used, this gives Dedenne the opportunity to use Pickup to pick up the Citrus Berry. Sigilyph has been a favourite Pokemon of mine for a few years now. It has a bizarre sort of ethereal beauty that no other mon has been able to quite replicate. Probably the closest we'll ever get to a genuine Angel Pokemon. Said to be an ancient Pokemon, a protector of ruins, it stands to reason that many Sigilyph would come into conflict with the Wayfinder Society and their expeditions. However, maybe one particularly outgoing Sigilyph would be offered the opportunity to protect ruins worldwide with Venture. Like I mentioned earlier, Sigilyph provides chances for Earthquake users on the team to spam it without fear of damaging their teammates, while also providing the same ground-type immunity that Claydol does, due to how weak to ground this team is. This, while also being the second special attacker on the team, carrying the signature Ancient Power of the Venture Gym, and providing some much needed coverage with Energy Ball, Dazzling Gleam and Air Cutter, all while abusing the broken ability Magic Guard to negate damage from things like Stealth Rocks, Sandstorm, Toxic, and most importantly, the damage provided by its held item, the Life Orb. Now, here's the Pokemon you've all been waiting for, the most obvious one of the team. The ace of Sloan, Venture, Cameron. The one, the only, Excadrill. You didn't think I was going to build a team around the drilling mold of Overwatch without bringing up the literal drilling mold of Pokemon, did you? In this headcanon, the Wayfinder Society hands out specially bred drillers to new members as partners, eventually leading to a strong enough bond to achieve Mega Evolution, as this Excadrill is holding the Excadrill, allowing for the use of Mega Excadrill, its incredibly high attack, and the new ability Piercing Drill. As Venture's ace, this Mega Pokemon is the only one on the team to carry Protect, to deter from people focusing it down as the main threat, while allowing Renerigus to safely use Earthquake next to it, or to set up Trick Room for threats too fast for Excadrill to deal with. Although 103 is an incredibly good speed stat, it's often too slow for a lot of matchups due to power and speed creep, so keeping Excadrill a middling speed stat that allows it to perform in Trick Room, while also still being able to outspeed opponents that NA has already paralysed with Nuzzle. Of course, like all good Excadrills, it's also carrying Iron Head for nice, simple steel stab damage with a chance to flinch, Rock Slide for more flinch chances and just good spread moves, and Earthquake because we have two ground immune mons, so we may as well just pop Earthquake on there instead of high horsepower. I'd say overall this team is pretty good. Obviously it could be a lot better in different ways, but part of the idea of creating these teams is having them to be reasonably balanced, so someone in a play could feasibly beat it. Hence why I'm not allowing Venture to use things like Legendaries or Ancient Paradox mods, which would fit their style quite easily. Next up, we have my team for Genji. Starting with a certain Ghostly Blade from the Paldea region with a signature move similar to Genji's minor perk, Dragon's Thirst. We have the first Pokemon, Cerulege. Not only being a Blade-themed Pokemon, Cerulege is also a Ghost type. With Pokédex entries discussing the grudges infused into the very metal of Cerulege's armour, Cerulege is a representative of Genji's Blackwatch days, resentful, angry, and a ghost of the man he once was. Although again, not the most optimal set, Cerulege offers priority in Shadow Sneak, high damage at Poltergeist, recovery in Bitter Blade, and a Dragon Fang boosted Dragon Claw to represent the Anima Dragon and the namesake of Genji's blade, the Ryuichi Mondri, roughly translating to the Dragon's Line. And Dragon Claw being the TM of the Genji gym. Another lore pick I have here is that of Farfetch'd. A strange choice for a high caliber team, however when making themed teams it was impossible to look past Genji's rather whimsical past as a young man where he would goof off for hours at a time. Not to mention that Farfetch'd's entire design is based on an old Japanese proverb and a symbol of good luck, in that a duck with a leek arriving at once is a meal that's already pre-made and is obviously a symbol of great opportunity. Just like Genji's time in Overwatch being a great opportunity and massively lucky that Mercy was able to fix him from what Hanzo left behind. But wait, there's a little bit more. Because Farfetch'd has a very vague bird design, it allows me to claim that it also represents his name as a child, which was the Sparrow. Unfortunately, due to Farfetch'd abysmal stats, there isn't much I can do with it other than maintain the blade aesthetic with Leaf Blade and Slash, complementing its signature held item, the Leak, to land guaranteed crits while also carrying dual Wing Beat for Flying Stab, and Breaking Sashes, and U-Turn for a slow pivot. Dashing in at breakneck pace, we have our first special attacker of the team, a Selgor. There's no particular reason for a Selgor on this team other than its ninja aesthetic. Well, it does also could, I suppose, be a representative of Swift Strike. However, it does offer a fairly hard-hitting selection of coverage moves for the team, with choice specs, of course carrying Water Shuriken to represent Genji's primary and secondary fire. A Selgor also carries Energy Ball, Focus Blast, and of course Bug Buzz for a reliable stab and ignoring substitute sweepers. Now, as the holder of a green Chinese-style Dragon Blade, the most obvious choice for Genji would realistically be Rayquaza. However, in favour of balancing the teams fairly, like I said before, I cannot allow Genji to hold the legendary Pokemon. So in a somewhat depressing and not the same exchange, I reluctantly give Genji the other green Chinese dragon, Drampa, to represent this dragon motif, while thankfully being another representative of its lax and goofy past with the Shimada clan. With a combination of defensive investment, Calm Mind and Roost, Drampa can become a setup sweeper next to a more threatening Pokemon, and with a Citrus Berry to proc its ability Berserk multiple times, Dranka can become a sleeper menace to deal with when not prepared for properly. With of course bringing spammable moves like Dragon Pulse and Flamethrower for some much needed fire coverage. This Drampa also bears a minor speed nature to surprise teams who attempt to come at Genji's gym with a Trick Room team. Like I mentioned earlier, the move Water Shuriken exists for a ninja-like Pokemon to use, so where would I be without mentioning the original user of this move, Greninja? Obviously, again here for the ninja motif and its signature move, Water Shuriken. But I can also make a connection with its dark type, or to give it the correct name, the evil type, which can be associated with the underhanded tactics and illegal operations of Blackwatch that Genji took part in. Although usually the star of the show, this Greninja set in particular is somewhat more support inclined, with it not even really being used as a water dark type but more as an ice type, by using incredibly fast icy winds for speed control and a meaty blizzard in an attempt to hit multiple freezes. And while yes, blizzard is a risky move, the fact that we're in doubles means it's more than likely going to hit at least one, so it's not the end of the world. And just in case we need any dark type moves for that dark stab, we have Dark Pulse, which is a very helpful flinch chance. Remember when I said there was a lack of green dragons? Well, I lied. There is one I neglected to mention, and it's the second carrier of the Dragonclaw TM for Genji's gem. This being his 8, Sceptile. With blades all over its body, being green, part dragon, and having a sound barrier breaking speed stat of base 145, this Mega Evolved Sceptile is more like Genji than any other Pokemon I could find, with this one in particular having a physical set to not only surprise those expecting a special set, but to ensure that the team has a clean split of 3 special attackers and 3 physical. With Dragon Dance to make sure Sceptile can outspeed teams even in Tailwind, Dragonclaw and Leaf Blade to deal huge stab damage, and Rock Slide to allow it to hit fire, flying and ice type Pokemon that threaten it, and risking flinches that allow Drampa to keep setting up unpunished. Although not as good as the Venture team, I am very happy with this Genji one. I think the addition of Farfetch'd really demonstrates my prowess with the lore of the game, and a deeper understanding of Genji and just Pokemon in general. I'm very happy with how this one came out. I was originally going for Mega Greninja and Gallade, but when I realised I wanted Dragonclaw as the TM, Mega Sceptile suddenly came to mind. And, you know, it's a Dragon type and it's green. That's pretty much as Genji as it can get. But other than that, thank you for watching for this first attempt. I hope this does well, so I can make another one of these. Thank you. I would like to thank my eggs, Cameron Wilson Fan, Cherry Balls, God Noodle, Slater Rex, The Perhapsy, Wafflers, The Spur, and Lord Grecos. Thank you for your continued support, and I will try and do some member posts at some point. Goodbye.